In this video, we're going to take a look at sorting on a single column in Excel. This is the same data from the previous video. In this video, we're going to take a look at sorting in Excel, and we're just going to look at sorting on a single column of data. Data we have here is the data that's left from our previous video talking about tables, but I have converted this back to a range. It is no longer an official table in Excel. And everything we're going to be doing in this video is going to be right up here. Actually, it's just going to be these two buttons right here on the Data tab in the Sort and Filter group. So first, a little bit about vocabulary. We do have a table here, and it's not an official table in, as far as Excel is concerned, but it is basically a table. A table is data where everything on a single row is related. So all of the information on this line belongs to George Washington. All the information on this line belongs to John Adams, and so on. Everything in this column is going to be somebody's first name. Everything in this column will be that same person's last name and their major and advisor and credits and ID number and so on. Okay. Each row, sometimes we just use the term row, but sometimes you may hear people talking about a record, and a record is the data that's related, that's all in one row here. You can kind of think of this as like all data being on a single piece of paper or a single card. So if I move part of it, I have to move the rest of it. It's just like moving the piece of paper or moving the card. All the data stays together on the paper or the card whenever you move it. So if I move George down to row 7, then I need to move Washington down to row 7, and HRM down to row 7, and Redmond and 40 and 1 all down to row 7 so that all the data stays together. If somehow I don't do that and I end up with some of George's data on one line and some more of it on another line, then I've basically scrambled my data and my data is no good anymore. The columns are sometimes called fields. So I have a first name field that refers to the first name column, a last name field, a major field, and so on. And the field is the term field is also used in relation to individual cells. An individual cell is also called a field. So you can usually tell from the context whether we're talking about the entire column for first name or if we're talking about the first name of a specific person. But either way, the term field is frequently used. Okay. Before we start doing any sorting, I want you to do one thing. I want you to look at column F over here and see that the data in column F is numbered, and the numbers are increasing from 1 to 43. And so if I ever get my data out of order, this data here reflects the original order of the data, and I can sort on this column to get the data back in the original order. And if you know the names of the presidents, you may notice that my students here are the presidents in chronological order. Okay. So now let's go ahead and start doing some sorting. We're on the Data tab in the Sort and Filter group, and if I want to sort on first name, do not select the entire column. Don't select any part of the column. All you have to do is be someplace in the first name column. Don't make it harder than it is. And select A to Z up here, and it automatically sorts on the first name. So Abraham is at the bottom, and Abraham is at the top, and Zachary is down here at the bottom. And if you remember George Washington's data, he was first on our list. He had 40 credits. He was an HRM major, and Redmond was his advisor. And so all of his data stayed together, as did all of the data for all of the other students. Okay. You can also do a reverse sort. I'm going to leave the cursor in column A, and now Zachary's at the top, and Abe got moved down to the bottom. If you want to sort on the last name column, put the cursor any place in the last name column, do an A to Z sort, and now we've got our students ordered by last name, and we can put them in reverse order by last name by clicking on Z to A. We can do the same thing with major, A to Z, counting majors at the top. I don't know what's at the bottom here. Math majors at the bottom. Do a Z to A, and now the math majors at the top, and the accounting majors are at the bottom. If we go to the credits column, go to the advisor column, do an A to Z sort. They're now sorted by advisor. Do a Z to A sort, Now they're sorted in reverse order by advisor. Credits. Now, since I have numbers here, if I pause the mouse, the button stays the same. It still says A to Z, but it says sort smallest to largest. Whereas over here, if I pause the mouse over it, it says sort A to Z. So an A to Z sort is an ascending sort, which is smallest to largest. And if I click on that, the person with the fewest number of credits is at the top, and the person with the largest number of credits is down here at the bottom. And I can do a reverse, which will put my seniors at the top and the freshmen at the bottom. And if I want to get the data back in the original order, just go to the ID number column and do an A to Z sort. And there you go. George is back at the top, and they're in the exact same order that we started out in. And that is really all that there is to know about sorting on a single key field. The column that you use to sort on is sometimes called a key field, and it's just that simple. If you know how to use these two buttons, you can sort in Excel 2016.